Okay, so we want them to breed more successfully, so to do that, the easy way is to create a bit of space. So by cropping off some of the smaller fish, like these bream, of which there's an abundance of all species in here, especially bream and carp. But these bream here, we want more of these coming through the rank. Unfortunately, the cormorant, which is the black seabird, they'll eat these. This is what they live on, basically, fish exactly that size. So we're trying to encourage more breeding and more growth, and just to basically, so we don't have to put more fish in, they'll generate more fish themselves. But to do that, sometimes you need to make a bit of space. So today we're going to take a few out of here, mainly some of the older bream and a few of the carp to make some space, which massively helps. And we do this at, well, in the last 20 odd years, we've done this at well over 1,500, 1,800 waters all around the country and beyond. And it's the best way to have sustainable fish growth and conditions. So with the summers we have, the weather gets really hot, you get algal blooms and all sorts going on and low water levels. And again, lakes with too many fish really struggle.
Yeah, we're on our way, we're just giving them dog food.
So basically by monitoring, you've got to catch them first. Like yesterday we caught this amount of fish again. We know they're different fish because we've got a net across there. And then if we do the other end, there's the same again. So there's an awful lot of fish. Most of the year they're absolutely fine. But then every now and then, when it's really, really hot, and the oxygen levels plummet, boiling hot, you might get an algal bloom, which is when there's not a lot of rain, not a lot of fresh water coming in, it gets very, very hot and the oxygen depletes. And unfortunately when that happens, it's seldom these ones that die, it's these big ones. And some of these could be 20 odd years old easily. So what we try and do is to make them, yes, grow, because there's lots and lots of fish like this. The trouble is, anytime anyone sees us put a net in the water, they think, oh, they're taking all the fish out, which is a nonsense really, because all we're ever doing is monitoring what's here and cropping and assessing not only the water quality, but we're gearing up for another hot summer. And in the summer it gets very, very hot, so the best way to look out for that is to do some of the work the lads have already done by tidying up the culvert and trying to work with the council to tidy up the lake as much as possible, but also to look at the fish and go, right, there's a lot of fish there. Some commercial fisheries just keep putting fish in because the odd angler who's not the greatest, that hasn't got much fishing ability, they won't catch fish on a hot day, so then they tell the club we need more fish. But I always use the same analogy. It's like me going to a golf course and moaning to the golf course that I didn't get a hole in one every time. They'd turn around and say, go and get some golf lessons. So sometimes it's down to angling ability why people don't catch the fish, whereas good anglers will always come and, when there's this amount of fish, we don't catch them all doing this because there's obstructions, there's bits of metal, there's wood, there's all sorts of crap in the water. But yeah, it's a really good lake, but the angling club do very well to manage it because quite a lot of the time in the summer we see lots of these fish dead as a result of a lack of management. So it's important to understand that these sort of things are important to do. So sometimes, like I say, people will moan and say, oh, they're netting it, they're taking the fish out. That couldn't be further from the truth. This is what we want more of, more recruitment of small fish. And these are few and far between because when they're this size, they get eaten by the cormorants when they're younger than this, basically when they're the size of the breed. So this is what we want more of, natural reproduction and natural growth. So you do that in a number of ways, but this is one of those ways. What it'll actually do, if we're left to carry on and do this, then the fish in this lake will get much bigger because we've created space by taking a few of the bream and a few of the carp out. So it's a bit of a naive attitude to have when people say, oh, they're taking all the fish out. In actual fact, you know, it's going to make the fishing a lot better for everyone.